Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I am here to review another game for you. Now, every once in a while, I get an email or a question asking why I have never done like a top games of all time list. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's something where I had to find the time and what have you to do it. But when and if I ever do that, one of the games that will always going to be in that top 10 is Exodus Proxima Centauri. I reviewed this game, and not actually, the non-revised edition. I reviewed that. Oh man, it was a long time ago when it came out, and it was right around that time when Eclipse came out, and obviously there's like Twilight Imperium and Space 4X and things like that, and there's lots of games out there that are based on the whole 4X space type game. And as time has gone on, I've enjoyed all those games I just mentioned a great deal. But as time has gone on, the one game that seems to come out more often than not is Exodus. And I think, if I had to just guess, for me it was more stripped down than the other games. I mean, there are times when I want to sit down and play like an epic game of Eclipse and just say, okay, I'm not doing anything for the next 6 hours, and that's really cool. But sometimes if I want to play a game, I can play a 4-player game of this in like a couple hours, and it's just really brutal. The game is kind of stripped down. It's much more combat oriented, and I like that. I like the kind of smash and grab aspect to it, and there's enough of the research and tactics and negotiation and strategy that goes on that it's a very complete feeling, but it condenses the time a lot. So when the designer of the game, Andre, contacted me and told me that he had a expansion coming out, which is this, and which is what the video is about, I was really excited about it. If you've watched my videos, you know that I am very tentative about expansions for games. I'm very, very select in what I enjoy about expansions, and I'm always a little bit annoyed when like you get an expansion and you realize that this was kind of like part of the base game that they were gonna, and then they just kind of maybe took it out, and then like, okay, and then later we're gonna like sell this $30 expansion or whatever. And I'm not a huge fan of expansions that say, okay, remember you took a long time to learn how to play that game and you know it backwards and forwards. Well, here we're going to change up all the rules and just mess with it. And now you got to relearn the game. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And what I like and what I appreciate as far as games, I like when they just give me more stuff. Like more encounters, more technologies, more cards, just the same kind of thing. You can tweak it a little bit and you can spin it on its ear a little bit, but leave the base game alone. There's a reason why I enjoy playing the game. It's because the game by itself is a lot of fun. So leave that alone, and then yeah, sure, fine. Twist it a little tiny bit, put a little bit of a kilter to it, but then just add a bunch of stuff to the game. That just makes like the other stuff that I had before. I mean, because I played this now 15 times probably more actually. So I know all the technologies. I know what I should be going for. I know what clicks on. But now give me more stuff that I have to learn how that works. How that works with the old stuff that I had and what have you. And without giving away the ending of this video, this expansion, this expansion does that for me with, my beloved Exodus Proxima Centauri. So, I'm not going to show you how to play the game. This is going to be kind of a weirder video. I'm just going to show you the different things that are added and kind of go over like the very few new mechanisms that are being added. to the game. I'm just gonna show you the different components, what's being added to the game, and as far as this expansion goes, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly what I think and why I think if you own this, you should definitely own this, and if you don't own this, you should definitely get this and get this as well. So, all right, cool. Well, Exodus. Edge of Extinction, the expansion to Exodus Proxima Centauri. Alright, cool. Let's do this. What you are looking at is what you get with the expansion, Exodus Edge of Extinction. I'm just, as I said, I'm not going to go over the entire game. I'm just going to show you what you're looking at. And actually, I should mention, you don't actually get this. This is from the base game. This is the a player board from the base game. But I have that out there just so you can see what you add to that when you play the game. But the first things first, just quickly, obviously, as you can see over here, we got some new cardboard tokens. We have more ships, more of your different arrows that you'll use to put under those ships. Remember, because you have multiple ships of different kinds, so that's how you designate number 2 and number 3. So you had number 2 before, and obviously now you have the ships that have number 3, and so you'll be placing these by your ships that you are flying, so you can tell which ones are which if there's ever any kind of discrepancy or wonderment as far as that goes. Also, the cardboard counters over here are for the new technologies that you can get. Just quickly, I can touch on these really quick. There's new, dark shields that protect you against 4 damage before they are overcome. There is new hyperspace engines that allow you to basically move to any hex on the board because you go through hyperspace, obviously. These are awesome. These are actually clone plants that you can place on planets that you are on, and that will allow you to grow population on those planets. You don't just have to grow population on your home planet anymore. You can actually get people to grow outside of your home base. To go along with that, there's also spaceports now. And spaceports, if you build those, allow you to build ships at different planets. Before, you weren't able to do that. You can only build your home planet. There is a brand new weapon that is called the EMP gun. The EMP gun is like the first round of combat. It does a bunch of damage to everything that's there. And then after that, it just kind of becomes a 2-dice cannon. There are... You notice these are red like cannons. These are extra transport modules. Both of these can carry 2 people, and this is like an advanced one. This is a normal one. You can now carry more, and ships that normally couldn't carry people now can if you plant those. Like, remember, like on these, you can't really put, if you like put that in there, and you could actually then use it to carry people. Obviously, you're sacrificing weapons to be able to do that, but that's a nice option for you if you want to have that is one of your ships anyway. One of the really cool things now, and this is something I'm pretty excited about, if you notice these 2 tokens here, these are basically defenses against weapons of mass destruction. This is the basic one, this is the advanced one. Now, if you get targeted by a rocket that is trying to either take out your resources, take out your population, or actually your whole, the entire planet, that will actually protect you a little bit. Basically what happens is if you get hit with one, you roll a die on a 4, 5, or 6, it protects you against that rocket. The difference between the base one and the bigger one is the bigger one will actually protect all the planets that surround it as well. And so you can then place that if you have in the middle of planets that you want to protect, and so you can protect many for the price of one. The cool thing, and as they have changed the rules now, you can actually target. Before in the base game, you couldn't target the person's home planet with weapons of mass destruction. You now can. You can't target it with the planet destroyer, the graviton rocket, but you can actually target that now with the others. So it's something where if you can build that, you can actually protect yourself against being hit with the bio or the structure missiles that would take out resources or people. as you can see, there's lots of different cards. Basically, more politics cards. Politics cards work exactly like they did in the base game. You have either resolutions or you have laws that are permanent. Resolutions are just for that turn. And of course, if I can find an executive one, I know there's... so resolutions, there you go, an executive decision. You resolve it, and they work exactly for you. You just mix those up with the ones that you have. More Centauri resistance cards. So like if it's supposed to be a blue Centauri resistant, you just turn it over, tells you what you have, tells you what you receive if you discard it and keep. And so just, a little flavor text there. Just exactly like they are. You just mix those up with the ones that you already have. You get a bunch of combat cards. So pretty standard. Once again, these are cards that you use when you're fighting, and it's more of these. Swarm tactics, just more stuff that you can add that you possibly can have. Once again, you just mix those up with the base game. This deck, this is awesome. These are Centauri combat cards. Before whoever's fighting the Centauri resistance, the person to their left is the one that runs them. Now they get to draw 2 of these cards from the deck, and then they get to pick one. And it's the first round of combat. It's just like an extra thing. So add 1 die to the roll 1 fewer die next round. And so they can choose, and they pick one, and they discard the other one, and then they it's just a little thing that you can add, and it's nice to have just that little tiny change, a little tiny difference maker, and it's kind of neat to have those little options and have those little modifiers, if you will. These over here, this is pretty good, and that goes right in hand with this and this. And so I'm just gonna not talk about these action cards really quick here, but obviously you've probably been seeing this. Now, for the first time ever, you have different factions. Each player color is a different faction that it has a backstory, it has different technologies, it has upgrades that tie into those technologies that are for them alone, and you have changed things up. You're no longer just a generic spacefaring race. You have a backstory, you have a purpose, you have things that you have. Like here we have the Hanzaya Dynasty. They're the red player, obviously. The Hanzaya Dynasty. They have the spaceports that they can make, and how much it costs to make a spaceport, and they have the hyperspace drives. So now they can build ships everywhere, and they can have super mobile ships. So maybe that's going to be your policy. Now when you obviously you can. When you play the game, you hand these out at random or roll or see who gets to pick first or whatever. The technologies obviously are right over here. Those are the things that they're the ones that expanded on the previous ones. So like advanced repairs. During the upkeep stage of every turn, you remove 3 damage for each of your ships, and then the basic and advanced are cumulative. So if you have the basic repairs, it was 1 before, now you get 3, so you can have up to 4. So all kinds of cool stuff like that. Here's one that they only have the 1 upgrade, but they can build super cheap, defense systems against weapons of mass destruction. And the Titan Diarchy, they have this master research. You can research 2 technologies with 1 research action or a research reaction. And then discounts are applied for that one, so you gotta pay full price. But still, how awesome is that? You can research 2. It's like all kinds of cool stuff that is added into this. Now, what happens with that, here I'll turn back to the Zaya Dynasty here, because I have the red one out there. So what you have when you play is that you have your base board, as always, but you're going to basically put this card here. And so you can see these technologies over here. Obviously, this is like prototype, so you can't punch out the holes like you have the holes punched out for the cubes here. But you have them right over there, the different technologies. The technologies themselves tell you which type of technology they are. Just like they had like over here, like they have the same symbols or whatever. So depending on the type of technology, remember you get the bonus, or they get cheaper the more you make. And so you just place it off to the side like so, and you have that. And here, let me just get these out of the way. And so then you have all this information in front of you right there. You have obviously you're taking a little more real estate when you're playing the game, but you have your you have your faction, you have your basic board, and then you have your added board here. And then obviously the space over here is for your third ship. And, you know, and so like, you know, the red, you'd have, I don't have all the ships out, but you have your extra ships and you'd place them over here for when you're playing. So, right there. And so then you'd have your extra ships, and it just, like I said, maybe a little more real estate, but I don't know, when having all that like that big giant expanse, now I actually feel a little bit more like a massive space-faring faction of politics and war and intrigue, if you will. So, there are a few changes to the rules. The big thing is they've actually, and I don't have the game board out here, so I'm just going to try to explain this. Before, with movement, and they added another option for movement that's called power drive movement. And normally, when you have a ship, and this is the only one I have, but like if you have a ship, how far it could move was based on how powerful its drive was, how fast it could move. Now, what you would do is you would choose a number, because the hexes have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd pick a number, and you'd move in that direction. And everybody would reveal it. Movement was simultaneous. Now they have this power drive movement where what everybody does is the first round, like basically you go through each different type of drive. So in the first movement, everybody gets to move one space. And so, and that's regardless to the type of engine that you have. It should be noted that that movement happens in reverse turn order as well. So, basically like the people that are, towards the end, like the last person to go has to go first, so they have to give away their movement. And then, in reverse turn order after that, each player moves any of their ships that has a fusion drive up to 1 hex. And then, each player moves any ships with an antimatter drive up to 1 hex. And finally, in reverse turn order, anybody that has a hyperspace drive can move to any hex on the board. And what that does is it actually makes the decisions of movement not so hidden, but way more strategic. But I'll talk more about that in my conclusion. But it's an alteration that they've added for the expansion, and they suggest that you use it with the expansion, and I agree, it does work a lot better. But I'll explain more about that in the conclusion. Finally, because if you do use that type of movement, they do have a ship blocking rule. And so when you use the drive power movement, whenever ship's belonging to more than one player and they end up in the same hex, usually you're having combat in that situation, because you're blindly moving to that area or whatever. But some of them, you can prohibit people, whatever the fastest ship is, can leave that area if they still have movement available to them, and so they can get away. But the ships that are slower are kind of just stuck there, and so they can leave behind. And that can actually be pretty crippling, because once somebody is stuck in that spot, then maybe if you have ships that have more movement, you can kind of gang up and do an attack. But the ship blocking rules come into play a lot. So, other than that, the game itself really doesn't change up too much. Everything that you see here as far as the changes are mostly the stuff that you see with the different technologies, the added ships. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the action cards. I almost forgot all about that. So now, before, everybody had the exact same actions, right? And so and you pick an action card, you put it down, and you flip it over, and that's what you do. Now, each person has action-specific cards, the same thing, action, reaction, same thing that they work, but these cards are totally faction dependent. So here's the ones for the Hanseatic Dynasty, and so there's your action cards, and let's look at here's Seoul, and you can see here we have kind of the same, but but still very different. And the cool thing about this is you don't have a situation where it's well, I know that he used that card, so I wonder if he's going to use this card the next. And because of that, I love the fact that, so a lot of that was cool, but there was a lot of think and double think going on when we played. But as soon as we moved to these new action cards, it added a total new realm of subterfuge and mysteriousness to what people were going to do. And you ditch the old action cards. You just throw them out and you use these instead. And it adds that the kind of story-driven part to the game as well, because the cards themselves do hook into the idea of that particular faction. I mean, if they're more combat, more warlike, the cards themselves feed into that. And I really liked the extra effort they've gone to make the game like that as well. So there you go. That's what you get with the Edge of Extinction expansion. Let me tell you exactly what I think about it in my conclusion. You know, as an added bonus to the fact that that I got this, and you know, it's, you know, and while I'm sure like the quality of the cards and everything will change up a little bit. This is definitely like a prototype that was sent to me, but it's still really awesome. The really nice thing about this is, because this isn't a box. If you know NSCAN games, they had a game called Wild Wild West, which is a pretty good game. Actually, I think it's out of print though. But this is definitely a Wild Wild West box with just the sticker of Extinction on top of it. But I'm really thankful I have this because of the fact that because I played the heck out of this game, I busted the heck out of my my box. So I'm going to be able to take everything and put it in that box over there. And sadly, I might have to just toss this one in the garbage. Which, no, actually I won't. I keep all my boxes for some really ridiculous reason. There's a stack of old game boxes and expansions and stuff that are sitting over there. Expansions of the games I don't even own anymore. I just realized that. Wow. But anyway, so I kind of gave away the lead, or gave away the reason why I really dig this expansion. But one thing I really liked was, and I told you about it, is the drive power movement. I mean, they've taken. I mean, while I did like the whole reveal the movement or whatever. It was always kind of the original game where you reveal, okay, this one's moving 6, this one's moving 3, you know that. I always felt that was kind of like the one part of the game that kind of bogged it down a little bit. And while it had its merits, you know, of like, well, where's that guy going? What's he going to do? I do like the drive power mechanism because it's much more tactical. Because of the it isn't like you're just completely lost, and you know, and it makes the cloaking of the ships that much more powerful because of the fact that, like, you know, you can then, you know, when you see where other people move, if you're, you know, the reverse turn order, obviously, because like you have to move before the first player goes, so you kind of give what you're doing. Having the ability to cloak, but you have to move first, is so invaluable at that point, and because of the fact that, you know, you can, you know, still have a fairly good freedom of movement in that situation. And I like how the way it works. You know, everybody gets to move one, and then like if you have fusion power, you move, and then so forth and on until like the different types of movement that you have, and you know, because you know the slower ships, obviously, you know, they end up where they're going, and you can plan your attacks better that way. I mean, you can say, oh, that guy can only move there, you know, and so it's a little more deterministic, and I really like that. I just, for me, one, it speeds up that movement conquest phase of the game, which I enjoy a great deal, and two, like I said, it just kind of opens up a lot of different things. It opens up a lot of negotiation possibilities as well, you know, situations where it's like, hey, don't go in that square, and then, you know, you and I can kind of skirt around each other, and we can go after that guy, you know, and blow up his planets and stuff like that. So I really like that. I totally like the new technologies. I think, for one, that commando technology is awesome. I mean, finally, like a really good way to kick somebody off a planet without blasting it with biological weapons if you're already there. So, you know, it's one of those things where it actually has an option of, like, you know, getting rid of those other, you know, you miscreants that are polluting my planet. You know, you're able to land there and take them out. So I like that part of it. And of course, I'd be totally remiss without saying, finally we can have something to protect against, like, the giant planet-killing rockets, which is something I totally loved about the base game. I loved the fact that I could blow up somebody's planet. I thought that was cool, and I enjoyed that. But it's one of those things where, you know, and this is going way back to games like Supremacy, when you had nukes and you could nuke somebody, and you had to get L-stars to basically defend yourself. We didn't have L-stars in this game until, you know, finally now, and we have that ability to, like, actually put those on different planets and protect yourself. It isn't, you know, guaranteed, which is fine, but, you know, at least now you aren't just like, oh, you know, just please don't hit my planet, and it isn't one of those like, please don't roll a 5 or a 6. You know, it's something where you can theoretically still survive and still prevent something. And I know there's a couple people in my gaming group that are a little bit feeling like, oh man, they just taken that power away. But you know, it's still a very fearsome weapon, and you know, I mean, that's pretty debilitating, having one of your planets blown up from you. And the fact that now you can actually target people's home planets with like not the graviton rockets, but you can actually take out you know, the people that are on those planets and the resources and the home planets. You know, it's kind of a welcome addition. You know what I mean? Just because I always thought that was kind of lame that they're like these little utopias that you couldn't affect. So, I mean, just everything about it is good. Now you can build spaceports, so you can build ships other places. You can get clone factories, so you can actually grow people in the planets that you're on. And you know, it's one of those things. And it's all the little things that were added to this game just added all kinds of different strategies to the game. And it opened up, like, I don't want to. God, I can't look at the word flavor. It made it like the game. It made what you were doing less rigid. You had flexibility. You had different. You now have different things that you can do. You don't just trapped. You know, building all of your people on your home planet and figuring out how you're getting to other places. I mean, you have different options to get them out there. You know, as far as like the other stuff goes, I mean, more politics cards. Great, thank you. I mean, we played this on so much. You know, it's like we don't even read those politics cards anymore because we know what they are when they come over. Okay, it's that one, it's that one, it's that one. Okay, what are we going to bid on? You know, I just give me more cards. I love the games giving me more cards. I love the new resistance cards. You know, that give the resistance. The Alpha Centauri resistance fighters, they give that person that has those, it gives them those little extra little abilities and things like that you can mess with people, because you know, obviously the Alpha Centauri ships are the Centauri resistance. That's a really great way to get technology or get points or stuff like that. So it's nice that you have that extra thing. You know, sometimes it's like once somebody gets like their big giant, you know, death machine, you know, they can just go and try to hunt down that resistance just for like free points. So it's nice that you have another thing that you can do. And of course, obviously, the factions are cool. Now you're not just some nameless spacefaring race. You have like an identity, which I love, and I also love the fact that each player has their own action cards as well. I mean, everything that they've added, all the cool things, you know, as far as you know, the new weapons, you know, the sacrificing cannons for spots for colonists and things like that. Everything about the game has improved it. It's one of those things where it's like, in a way, I wish it had just been in the base game, but I understand why it wasn't. And I'm really excited, and I was really excited to play this. We played it. We had a blast. We played it again immediately. We had a blast again. I can't wait for the final version to come out. And I mean, I just think, like I said, if you own the base game, you're going to want the expansion. And if you don't own the base game, you're going to want the base game and the expansion, especially now. I mean, because it's the expansion moves seamlessly into the into the base game. You won't even really notice that anything really changed. It just the changes, while mechanically small, are infinitesimally, like, that's a little much, but it just they add so much more to the game for just almost no hiccups whatsoever in the gameplay and the flow of play as well. So there you go. That is the expansion, Exodus, Age of Extinction. If you have any questions about it, please ask away. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye.